Hi, so I'm going to show you how to design your book nook. So basically these are designed to go in between books on a bookshelf, and it kind of looks like you're looking into a little world, a little nook, a little space. So I am going to get these printed out. The last couple of days of school we'll be folding them and putting them in between books in the media center. Before you start this project, do step one. Go to Google Drive, make a folder for book nook. In that folder, make a folder called Images. This is where you will collect images for your book nook. You can access images from Clean PNG, Pexels, Pixabay, Adobe Express. Do not use Google for images. Do not use Remove BG. The second step is to go ahead after you do step one. You can pause here and go do that if you haven't yet. You're going to download this file and then open it. I did this 2 steps with some of you in class. Periods 5, 6, and 7 I did not, so make sure you do these steps before you get started. Go ahead and download the Book Nook template and then open it. And then do a save as and rename it Book Nook your last name. So this will open in Photoshop. It'll bring you to this. I have set up a template for you, and we are going to be using 1-point perspective on this grid to make it look like you're looking into our little book nooks. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I've already collected all my images to make it easier, and I've made you folders. So you're going to find your own images for this. If you want to find the same ones as me, that's okay. I got them all off Clean PNG. So the first thing we're going to do is hide this frame. It's going to always stay on top. And we're going to go get our walls. So we're going to go get walls. So I'm going to go over to my Downloads folder. I know I have walls in there. I'm going to go to Place Embedded and go to my Downloads, and I'm looking for my walls in here. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and place this. I'm going to use this same one for the back wall and the 2 side walls. So the first thing I need to do is shrink this down a bit, and I want to match the side of this to the length of this back wall, like this. So it's matched up here in the corner and here in the corner. And then I'm going to take the transparency down a bit so I can see through it and put it onto the back wall. So it's the same height. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to go here and cut this little part out and go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. I'm going to hide my original here. There's my back wall. Right there, I cut it out. So I just did that with the rectangular marquee tool on the original here. All right, I'm going to turn the original back on and take my transparency back up. And I'm going to move this once again. Oops. Moving the wrong layer. If that happens to you constantly, you can lock the layers. All right, now I'm going to move this over. So that once again, it matches the width, or the height, sorry, the height of the wall. And I'm going to go ahead and use my cutout tool, and I'm going to cut out just this space right here that I need. And I'm going to go to Edit and Cut, or Copy, sorry, and Edit and Paste. I'm going to hide this one. So I'm just working with this piece now. Go back to my Move tool. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and I'm going to choose Perspective. And I'm just going to see this little box down here. I'm going to drag that down until it matches the bottom floor line. I'm dragging straight down. If you drag over or do anything weird, it'll warp. So just drag straight down. You'll see my mouse right here, dragging straight down. And I can also fix this one. That seemed to have popped right into place there. You can also fix it so it goes to the corner. So you want this as accurate as possible. And then you can go ahead and place it. Make sure that's matching. If it's not, it's going to mess up everything. I'm going to turn this one back on. And I'm going to move it over to this way and match it. You can also use your arrow keys to nudge stuff a little bit more precisely. And I'm going to go to my rectangular marquee tool. And I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. And I'm going to hide this one. Make sure this one's selected. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. Once again, I'm grabbing this top one or the bottom one, whichever you want. Let's do the bottom one since we did that over here. And you're dragging it straight down. Straight down. It's okay if you go off the canvas. And then press Enter. So now I have my walls. I'm going to make sure that all of these are inside the walls folder. So I'm going to drag them into that folder. So now they're in walls, and I can turn this off and on as needed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the ceiling next. We can go get an image for the ceiling. So I'm going to go to Place Embedded. I'm actually going to choose the same image for the ceiling and the floor. It's easier. I'm going to place this and make it way smaller. I also want to turn it because I want the boards to face the other way. So I'm going to turn this and make sure it is straight. And I'm going to match it with the ceiling, the width. I'm going to go to this tool and I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. It's going to make me a copy again. Let's drag this both into ceiling. It's going to make me a copy, and I can hide this one. And I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. And you're just going to bring it out to the edges. Now what's cool about this is I have this layer underneath the walls layer, so I have to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing. But if you make a little mistake, it will kind of hide it. And then place that. Last step will be our floors. So our floor is down here, and I'm going to use this again for the floor. So I'm going to turn that back on. I'm also going to lock this so it doesn't move around everywhere. And there's my floor. And I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective, and pull the floor out. I can also pull it out this way towards me and then place it. So now hopefully you can see that you have some dimension in this little room. And let me make sure that that's in floor. So I've got my floor, my ceiling, my walls, and the next thing I'm going to do is start putting in some room content. So why don't you pause now and go put your walls in, and then you can rewind and watch this part of the video as needed. All right, welcome back. You're going to go ahead and put some stuff into your room. I'm going to start with a bookcase. I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to go, I have most of my images in Google Drive right now. So if you've been collecting images, hopefully they're in your folder. There we go. And I have a bookcase in here. So I'm going to go ahead and place the bookcase. And I'm just going to put it against the back wall there because I don't see the side of it. It makes it a little bit hard to see. so I couldn't put it on one of the side walls if I made it sideway. I'm gonna go ahead and make this. I'm gonna call it bookcase because we're gonna have a ton of layers by the time this is over. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a drop shadow layer effect. You can adjust your drop shadow however you want. I'm using mine like this. If you want to take a second and copy it, I'm at a 90-degree angle. My distance is 36. My spread is 23. My size is 90. So if you want to match my shadows, you can. All right, I'm going to show you how to put a carpet on the floor and then some pictures on the walls. So I'm going to go with the carpet first. I have this rug right here. I searched for rugs and clean PNG. Got this really cool rug. Now you can see right now this doesn't make much sense in the room. So we have to perspective warp it. So we're going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. And we're going to pull this one towards us. I'm pulling the one on the left off to the left a little bit. And I'm using the boards to kind of match it. You could also turn off the floor and use the grid. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. I'm going to use that grid. There, now it's matched up perfectly with the lines that are in there. So if you have to use your grid, that's why we put everything in folders. You can just turn it off and back on. All right, and I'm going to name this Rug. All right, I'm going to show you how to put a picture on the wall with your artwork in it. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. And I have a really cool picture frame I got off Clean PNG. And I'm going to work with it over here for just a moment. And I'm going to go get a piece of artwork that I've saved as a JPEG. Oh, I've placed this first. It's not going to stay here. It's also not going to stay the same size. I am going to go ahead and call it Frame and put a drop shadow on it. And what's really cool is once you do one drop shadow, it'll copy it over the same to every layer so you have consistency in those shadows. All right, now I'm going to go get a piece of my artwork that I have saved as a JPEG. I have Broccoli House here. I'm going to place it. It's going to come in really big because we saved that as a pretty big file. It's going to take a minute. All right, so let's make this a lot smaller. Okay, so I'm going to turn, this is landscape direction, so I need to turn this frame landscape as well. So I'm going to click on the frame, go to Edit, Free Transform, turn it sideways so it's landscape also. I'm going to put Broccoli House under the frame layer and move it there. And I got to make sure none of the painting sticks out, so I'm going to go to Edit and Free Transform, make Broccoli House painting a little bit smaller. And you can do this with any of your artwork. And place it. I'm just going to zoom in to make sure everything looks good there. Oh, no, I have a weird space under there, so I'm going to zoom back out and fix that. Go back to Free Transform. Bring that down. Let's make this whole thing a little bit bigger. All right, this now looks great to me. There's even that little drop shadow from the frame that we put on that gives it a really cool like 3D effect, like it's actually framed. So we're going to go ahead and click on the frame layer and hold down and click on Broccoli House. So your frame, your artwork. I'm going to merge those two. And then make sure that they're going into my room contents folder, which I need to also put rug and bookcase in there. So this way everything will go away at the same time if we want to get rid of room contents to get them out of our way. All right. So now we have this artwork. It's all one piece now. You might need to watch that part again to see what to do. I'm going to take my free transform tool and put this over on this wall. And I'm going to go to free transform and make this a lot smaller so it fits in the wall area. And I'm going to go to edit, transform perspective, and I'm going to hide my walls for a minute because we're going to use the grid. So edit, transform, perspective. And I'm going to move this straight down. This is where this gets tricky. Because if you go this way, you see it does weird stuff. You want to go straight down, it'll pull it out at an angle. And I'm matching my grid lines the best that I can. You can also pull it down this way. Just be careful. You're trying to make it look as realistic as possible. And you can pull it in this way if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and place that there. And I'm going to go to edit, free transform again, just to collapse this in a little bit more, make it a little bit smaller, and then turn my walls back on. So now your picture is on the wall. You can put any other decorations on the wall like that, but basically you have to use your perspective. Remember, our vanishing point is back in here somewhere. So make sure that everything's going towards there. In fact, I could probably move this up a little bit. There we go. Remember, everything is getting smaller as it gets to this point. So anything you put in the front of the room is bigger. Anything you put in the back of the room is smaller. I'm going to open up my other one so you can see it. Oops. This one is a little bit taller and skinnier, but you can see at the end the frame is at the top. We take on and off of here. But as you can see, things are overlapped. As things get towards us, they're bigger. As they go farther back in the room, they get smaller. You can put a window in there. You can put lamps in there. On windows and lamps, I like to give everything an inner shadow and an outer glow, especially if it's in the wall. Feel free to get as creative as you want with this. Put lots of little details in. Let's see if my other one is in here. Here's the one. So you see all these layers over here? The frame goes on last, so you just activate your frame again. Here's my room contents. Here's my walls, my ceiling, and the floor. And then we have our locked content down here. When you're done, you're going to export it as a JPEG. Please do lots of little details. You can see like a little pendant on the floor, a stack of books, there's a peach, there's glasses and a book. You can use anything you want from Clean PNG or Pexels or Pixabay. Remember to take the background off of stuff. You can use the quick select tool. I hope you guys have fun with this one. Please take your time. I'm going to say at least 20 things inside your room. That's not including your walls and ceiling and floor. So you should have at least 20 things in this room contents folder. And don't forget your drop shadow layer. All right, good luck and have fun with this one.